All right, there we go. Sorry about that, guys. Let's see here. Let's make sure audio is working. All right, audio is working. Cool beans. There was one moment while we get everything fired up over here. We definitely had this rolling. Let's share that, and let's do this. There we go. All right. Stand by, folks. Dr. K should be joining us shortly, and we need to get this thing fired up over on X. Gonna be a short one today. There he is. All right. Looks like we got Dr. K. How you doing, Dr. K?
Doing well.
Real quick before we dive in, I definitely need you to fire this up on X. I thought I could, but I can't.
So, okay. You can give me a second.
Yeah, no worries. No worries. Buster. Got an opportunity to chat with you briefly before this. Just cool hearing the whole team in the background there. Super excited on everything going on over here at Quai. You guys had a great space today with the Wolf team as well.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I was commenting on my own stream and talking to Christopher. It's really cool. We've been doing that space with Wolf for more than a few months now, and it's fun to watch some of the folks we've been chatting with since the beginning go from apprehensive curiosity to well-educated advocation. So it feels good, man. It feels good. So shout out those of you hanging out with us over here on YouTube, Master Crypto Mentoring, Boss TA chart analyst over there, and I Can Shoot. Welcome back, I Can Shoot. I think I recognize you on X now too. Fellow miner out there.
So, man, I
Respect.
think we can make the stream a little bit bigger, maybe, or like our images if you want, or at least your
Oh.
image. You're probably better looking than me.
Yeah, we can try this.
Yeah, there
Keep
you go.
that keep that running in the top corner there. I'm waiting
Yeah.
for it to pop up on X. I realize we need to make sure we're reposting this uh, as an actual tweet because it doesn't always come through as an actual tweet.
Yeah.
So let me make sure I do that, and then I'll get it announced in the Discords, and then we'll dive in here.
Sounds good. Well, as you're doing that, I'll just address something that people have been talking about, which is variance. Right, like today, I think
Yep.
revenue was only like 17K, where we've seen days where it's 35K. But that's literally just variance of a plus on process.
Right.
We have had many discussions about it, and we've done the math on it, and it's just expected variance given kind of the sample rate that we get on Doge and BCH. As engineers, we're overly paranoid about it because it could be variance or it could be something in the stack or one of the instances is down or something that you know we're not like submitting shares or something to the parent chain. So there's a couple of things that could hypothetically break. So we're always like hyper scrutinizing it, even though it's still in expected values. So um, we have spilled tremendous discussion amongst ourselves talking about it, but there's nothing wrong, and it's like just expected variance given these sample rates.
Fair. Yeah. You guys spotted it before I think anybody else on the team did, so it speaks to how sensitive you guys are to that. And then just a second, it's definitely people have noticed. But with all that being said,
I'll give people like a scalar to kind of think about it
okay.
based on our hash rate, right? Like whatever your expectation value is, you can kind of compute that. So I think right now it's like roughly 6 Dogecoin or Litecoin, or sorry, Dogecoin or Bitcoin Cash blocks in a day,
Hmm,
which means you'd expect one every 4 hours. But for the number of samples that we're seeing, it only becomes like a problem when it's greater than 5 times that expectation. But even then, it's still a 1% chance. So that
okay.
means that like only if you go past 30 hours without seeing a single one, or you 1% of the time that would happen. But given the fact that like we've almost observed 30 days as like a sample window, that's even kind of anticipated that that will happen.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, so
But
the
like
best expectation.
you don't even begin to like have statistical evidence that something is like right or wrong until you're over 30 hours. Like it's not even interesting to think about.
Got it.
Right. But even if it does go over 30 hours, that's still a 1% chance. The other day we had like a day ago, we had 3 Doge blocks in like the space of an hour. That's
Right.
like a 1 in 5 year event.
It
Yeah. So like it's just process on processes. And even though literally been like studying these for like 5 years, right? Like that's what Quai is. It's like a study of a process. It's still like disturbing, but it's especially disturbing when you're trying to take like engineering signal from the sample.
right.
So like we're all hyper like vigilant and paranoid about it. Um, what'll be nice is like once the hash rate doubles again, the variance is going to drop. So like we'll be able to be less paranoid.
Right.
But like right now, it's like a very paranoid existence. Unfortunately, we're like not getting a
Freaking
ton of sleep.
blockchain warriors out there on the front lines so we can sleep easy.
Well, it's also like a new. I mean, it's not that new of a system to be honest, right? We're almost, you know, this is week 3. I think we're ending today.
Right.
Um, so it's been running successfully for week 3. We've had one thing that was actually a crash. There was like a WebSocket handling that we didn't do correctly on a crash.
Hmm.
So, but like I said, I mean, we're paranoid because any bugs like we'll eventually find them, but the time it takes us to find them is like lost revenue. Right? So
Right.
we're all very vigilant over here about it.
Now, heard. Really appreciate you kicking us off with that, Dr. K. I'm just going to spend a brief moment setting some context for those who might be tuning in and are not sure what we're talking about. Quai Network 3 weeks ago launched Project SOAP, which allows the network to be merge mined with Ravencoin, Litecoin, Dogecoin, and Bitcoin Cash. Opens the network to being mined by 3 different algorithms here. And so we're talking about the expectation of seeing blocks from these subsidy networks where the rewards from those blocks are being used to purchase Quai at market and then burn. So buybacks and burn now live for 3 weeks on Quai Network. And I cover this and everything else we look at in my live streams now. But like Dr. K said, we saw uh, a unique event in a po- Poisson. How do you spell that? Poisson distribution.
Poisson, it's the ISSON. I think there's like accent somewhere in there.
Okay, a discrete probability distribution. Okay, that expresses the probability of a given number of events. So the best case scenario with our current hash rate, I think you said, Dr. K, was for Bitcoin Cash was a block every 4 hours. But
That's
worst
the
ca-
expectation value, yeah.
okay, and then worst case is one every 30 hours, but that'll only happen 1% of the time. Did I follow that correctly?
Correct.
Got it. Okay, and we just witnessed something close to that event. Not quite, but close.
Well, no, that was for Doge. I think we've gotten
Oh,
3 or 4 Bitcoin Cash blocks today.
okay, tracking. Cool. So, I just really appreciate that somebody is paranoid and keeping their eyes on that. The community definitely noticed, but I think honestly, we have a pretty intelligent community. It's been around for 5 years, so they totally understand, and
Well, I
there's
mean,
lots to
shit,
be
man. There,
there's
like
lots to be excited about. So
the one thing I keep saying is that like the human mind was not designed to understand the Poisson process. You you don't
yeah,
have a large enough sample window, and you have too much recency bias. So like no matter how you put it, unless you actually run numbers, like you can never properly interpret it.
the other thing I've heard you say is it's great for gamblers, terrible for engineers.
Yeah, yeah. I mean that's as the sample rate goes up, it's not going to be like as annoying. But for now, it's like pretty frustrating for sure.
Cool, cool.
So,
Right on. Well, some other things I wanted to mention while we're on the stream tonight. For those of you tuning in, we'll be on X in a space tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central Time, where we'll be talking about this and the latest release of Stratum X, which is a great opportunity to move the ball forward for decentralized solo mining. So we released that yesterday, I believe. Yeah, yesterday. And there was a great conversation about it with the Wolf team today on X. But we'll be talking about this more tomorrow. I wanted you, Dr. K, tonight, to dive into a little bit more about an upcoming podcast with Jordan Hall. This is something I've been thinking about a lot lately. Our good partner Steph is also super excited about it. He released a teaser video recently. So my initial thought, like after I watched the teaser video, was these kind of conversations remind me of some of the extended and more philosophical, potentially existential conversations I got to experience when I first discovered, Bitcoin and Ethereum, frankly, a decade ago now at this point. But this feels like an evolution of those conversations, which is really inspiring because I think it's, you know, a great time in our history to have these conversations, but it's also indicative of the evolution and innovation that's happening in the blockchain space right now, which obviously Quai Network is charging forward with. So those are my initial thoughts. But did you want to talk about that at all?
yeah. So I mean, Jordan's an interesting fellow. He's kind of part of like a subset of the intellectual dark web, as they've called themselves. Um, but he's part of what I think it's called Group B. Is that right?
Ooh, I don't
Um,
know.
yeah, it's a group of individuals who are basically talking about sort of this issue that our current institutions and systems are failing, and kind of what they can do to you know um, mitigate the disruption as they like kind of collapse and what is built to replace them. Fundamentally,
The meta crisis, is that another word
yeah,
for it?
yeah, the meta crisis is in there, but there's kind of this group of people that are talking about it, trying to work on solutions. But yeah, the point being is, the reason I thought crypto is interesting is, there's libertarian ideas about it, which is you're creating a voluntary money system rather than one that's kind of perverted by politics, censorship, inflation, taxes, confiscation, etc., monitoring. Um, so ideally, crypto is about peer-to-peer digital cash, which means you get the politicians out of the picture, you get the Federal Reserve manipulating the system out of the picture, you get governments um, spending massive deficits to create perpetual wars and military-industrial complex machines out of the picture, and you actually just create a mechanism for people to voluntarily engage into commerce in a bilateral way, right? And with that, um, ideally, you solve a lot of the maladaptive outcomes that exist when you pervert the information system that is money. So that's ultimately, why I think it's so important to build true peer-to-peer electronic cash. And part of that solution too is when we talk about getting the Fed out of the picture, we need to replace it with something. Um, and so the whole concept of proof of work is that you're linking this new money to energy and thermodynamics, which is sort of the fundamental currency of the economy anyway. So it's sort of the purest representation of value that we can get from a decentralized oracle, which is proof of work mining, right? So all of this sort of ties together in that, the meta crisis, the corruption, the institutional rot can be solved through making a better form of money. Um, so there's kind of a conversation we're going to have about the meta crisis and how this sort of all fits together. Um, but it's certainly what's been motivating me for the last 8 years.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Pre-launch, uh, we spoke a lot about thermodynamics and thermoeconomics. We had a lot of big ideas, and you just reminded me of a gentleman who wrote an article about this topic, Andrew Cote, I'm going to try and dig that back up and rebroadcast that for our community because it's a great summary of why thermodynamics is a great way to think about this, and ultimately the convergence with economics being called thermoeconomics, and how it's not really something that's been explored deeply is now something that's going to become probably a lot more top of mind for a lot of people these days, especially if Elon Musk keeps talking about energy money. So I'll dig that back up and recirculate it for the community. That was a great article, and probably somebody I should tap on the shoulder again relatively soon, especially once we get. Christopher's hooking it up on X. Thank you, Christopher. All right, we'll rebroadcast that. Shout out,
Well,
Christopher.
so the other thing too, um, that I have to point out is like this isn't Johnny come lately like thinking because
Right.
some people like Elon are talking about energy money, right? Um, we our consensus mechanism is called poem,
Yeah.
which is proof of entropy minima, which is one of the fundamental. It's actually basis of thermodynamics, right? Um, and it's tightly related into how you actually do proof of work consensus. Um, it's related to um, how you can like kind of model reality and order events in a deterministic way. Um, and then it's also related to how do you derive energy money from a distributed set of global like worker nodes.
Yeah. No, it's definitely I mean it was clear to me pretty early on that it's fundamental to um all the thinking and design behind Quai Network, which again, what's the date, Dr. K? Are we north of 8 years now since you started thinking about this?
Um, so scaling proof of work came to me in, I think it was Feb of 18.
Okay, so
Yeah, so coming up on 8 years.
coming up on 8 years. Dang,
I published how to do it and block reduce and 10th anniversary Bitcoin, which was October 2018.
nice, nice.
Yeah,
Okay, so block reduced anniversary is October this year,
yeah, October 31st.
and that'll be 8 years for block reduce, and then your idea is February. So yeah, eight. I'm just gonna say 8 years, guys. I went and did some research the other day too because I was curious. I couldn't find Bitcoin, but Ethereum didn't even go from idea to inception in more than 2 years. So that's always something that's interesting to me because I often compare it to TCP/IP as a incredibly well designed protocol, and the amount of resources and time it took to do that compared to what we've seen in blockchains as an evolution of TCP/IP going from value or from information to value. So those are just like how I help myself contextualize these things. So for the upcoming conversation, I'm just super excited about it because it truly feels like an evolution of the philosophical and existential conversation that crypto's been having since the inception of Bitcoin. So appreciate your thoughts on that.
Can
Um,
you can you put live back up on that left
oh
panel
yeah,
for me?
too easy.
Do the Doge miners.
You
I
want to
feel like
see
Doge mining.
it? Two by two, guys. If you want to
Let's
play around
let's
with
do
this
it, man.
for yourself, just go over to live.q.ai and
You can
then
even put the lo-fi on in the background if you want.
oh, I think Doge has I don't know.
Yeah, that's good. Just tone it down just a little bit.
Do I?
Perfect.
Okay. Oh man, I've been playing around with creating some more tracks for Quai Network for our content, but I have a
Can can
habit.
can you dial the music down a little bit off the bus?
Um, I can't. There's no volume on this. I could try this.
Uh,
Stand by. This probably won't work though. Did that work?
nah,
No.
just mute it then. It's fine.
Okay.
Look at all those Doges hard at work.
All those dogies.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is a fun tool. Yeah, guys, check it out. Live.q.ai. We also have a mainnet version where you can see Quai Network in its current state. Um, but this is 2x2 demo really demonstrates what's possible when you can scale a proof of work network. Super cool. Anywho, let's see here, Dr. K. We got Stratum X out. We are online 24/7 talking about this stuff, and I know you guys are hard at work behind the scenes. The community at this point is super excited to run nodes and get them listed on Stratum X and start participating in this decentralized network for solo miners. Can you share any updates on where we're at with that, perhaps?
Um. Yeah, we still haven't like had that sort of planning session of the progression of opening Stratum X up. We're still right. We released it, I think, 20. 6 hours ago or something. So we're still kind of dealing with some bugs, like making sure people can use it with all different types of hardware, etc. So that was kind of today for the most part. We are going to have a planning session though, um, and part of that is going to allow people, at least known to us initially, like friendlies, so to speak, to participate. But longer term, we want to open it up broadly to anybody. But we kind of have to draw out what we think that path looks like to make sure that it's stable and everything for the miners. So um, that's the general arc. Like I said, we still have to do the planning for how that goes. If I had to guess, though, maybe like next week we could start adding some nodes, of other people that are in the community.
Okay. Well, and I imagine the release of GoQuai, what will come with that. So, while people won't be able to get added to Stratum X, they'll be able to test it out and try it out for themselves, correct?
Um, yeah. So if anybody who's mining on any of the algos, they can just go to stratumx.org. It looks like a pool. You set your endpoint, and you can mine. Now the difference being is it's not a pool.
Right.
It's decentralized, so it's fully using the work shares as the payment mechanism. And stratumx.org is really just a front end. You don't have to use stratumx.org. You don't even have to use any of the nodes that are referenced by stratumx.org. You could run your own node, but again, with miners, it's just allowing them the ease of being able to mine without having to run the infra. Um, and it's a zero fee, non-custodial, non-KYC pool. And then the other thing that's potentially cool about it is if you haven't seen like nameplate hash rate with some of the other pools. We know for some hardware on some of the algos, you might actually get about 10% better hash rate on stratumx.org. So we spent about half a week really tuning in a number of different miners to make sure the way that templates are served and how the pool interacts with the miners is efficient for the greatest set of miners. So if you're seeing maybe like 10% less hash rate in Kapow mining Quai on Cryptex, you might get full hash rate if you check out StratoMax.
Nice. Yeah, that was a new term for me this week. In the past, I always just, fired up these miners I had back here, pointed them at my own pool over on ProgPow, and the hash rate that the miner was reporting was the hash rate I got. So when I pointed it to a pool and saw what I thought was a pretty big difference, I learned a few things. So uh,
Yeah, I mean, there's inefficiencies like in the pool depending on how they manage the relationship with the hardware that's mining. And it's not super obvious how to best manage that because Quai is a little bit more aggressive in the requirements. So if you're doing, say, Ravencoin mining and you're only producing a block every minute, so you only have to update your ASIC every minute or your GPU every minute, that's really, really easy to do. But we have to update much more frequently. So there's a balance between like the hardware, the firmware, the mining software, and the pool about how they can interact with each other, such that you get fast enough template updates that you're getting full payments at the same time that if you're too quick about it, you can actually get a reduction in achieved hash rate. So we really were trying to figure out how to balance that tension, and we think we got it pretty well across the different algos and the different hardware. So if you have a GPU that wasn't quite getting there, or SHA ASIC or a script ASIC that wasn't getting what you might consider nameplate hash rate, you should definitely check out Stratum X. And if you set your D value right, you'll probably do pretty well.
hell yeah. Another, new thing for me, newbie miner, was setting my D value, but Stratum X has, the tools you need to make sure you set the right D value. So Super cool stuff. I'm looking through chat here. Shout out everybody on YouTube and X who are tuning in. Uh, I like Double D here. Are super excited to run a Stratum X node. So I just want to call out. I learned something recently that not everybody might be aware of, which led me to my next question for you, Dr. K. Do Stratum X nodes need to be fully indexed nodes?
Do Stratum X nodes need to be fully indexed? No, they do not.
Okay. Okay, that saves on some storage space. I always ran a fully indexed node, so I can do some monitoring of some Chi wallets. But it wasn't until recently I found out that our snapshots are actually from a fully indexed node. So for those of you like myself out there who always synced from scratch, you don't have to do that anymore. So that's good news. So just FYI there. Yeah, more people in chat who threw their rigs up on Stratum X. So shout out to you guys. Glad it's working for you. Um, People got some Quai and then turned off. Let's see here.
Yeah, I will give some hints about Stratum X too. This is just the first volley on Stratum X, guys. Um, Stratum X will eventually decentralize all proof of work mining.
Boom.
That's why it's called Stratum X. It's not called Quai Pool,
Right.
because this is going to apply to more systems than just Quai. Just not there yet.
Hell yeah. You keep us on the edge of our seats, Dr. K. You've been teasing a bunch of Easter eggs in our tech AMAs every Wednesday over in Discord. So if you guys are really excited about what's coming next, make sure you tune in on Discord every Wednesday. Uh, Rock on. Oh man, looks like I got someone at the door. Somebody else is gonna have to get that. Holy cow, man. Well, this was kind of ad hoc, but appreciate you jamming with me tonight. We'll have a lot more to share tomorrow. But guys, check out live.q.ai if you want to see what a scaled proof of network looks like. If you're curious about um, the benefit that merge mining all these chains brings to Quai and the chains that they also secure, go visit soap.qu.ai, and you can see not only the blocks that we're discovering with links to those block explorers. You can track revenue, hash rate, the total value secured in transactions, which is a fun number, probably not the most accurate number, but it is the number of UTXOs secured on those chains, the amount of Quai burned, and a lot more. So definitely take a peek at that. Stratum X is live now. If you're wondering why you would mine Quai instead of some of these other blockchains, all you have to do is check out some of these profitability calculators like whattomine.com. And you can see how you could be more profitable mining Quai. One thing that I've noticed in some of the miner Discord servers that might have been a hiccup, at least out the gate, was this difficulty number. Um, one thing you might not be aware of on Quai Network is that we have work shares baked into the protocol. So if you're mining on SHA or Script and Kapow, you actually get paid out a whole lot more often. Inter block actually, and payouts probably not the right. You earn rewards faster and
Yeah,
more
so
consistently.
just in Quai, right? For
Hmm.
consensus purposes, one of the points of Quai is to be able to function as P2P cache. So in the L1, you want to have a very tight time to consensus. So to do that proof of work setting, you actually have to take many samples of miner hash rate quite quickly. And the way that we accomplish that is through what we call a work share, which is a sub-block difficulty proof of work. This is very much similar to how a pool measures hash rate of participants in a pool. Um, we call those pool shares, but basically those exist inside of Quai in the protocol itself. So when you're mining, you could find a block, but you could also find a work share, as we call it. But the work shares also get paid. So when you're mining, there's actually 8 work shares per 5-second block. So the number of payments that go out, there's a payment almost every second. So even if you're mining at this point with, say, a bid axe, in expectation, you're still going to find 2 work shares per day. So you don't need to join a pool to have low enough variance and payouts to make it worth your while. You can just natively mine Quai, and even with a very, very small, hash rate, you'll still get paid.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, and that's something that's especially interesting now because it definitely seems like the rest of the mining industry is really excited about solo mining, and these bit axes and hammer miners on script are kind of taking the industry by storm right now. They're freaking everywhere. So if maybe you got the bright idea of trying your hand at lottery mining, but you're not getting you're not getting what you expected to get. You can turn that miner onto Quai, get paid out more frequently, and still secure the network that you want to. So that's pretty cool. Rock on. Oh, let's see here. Yeah, we got to share this Andrew Cote thread, Christopher. That's a great one. It'll definitely go hand in hand with the conversation with Jordan Hall. Really appreciate you sharing
How
that in the
the
chat.
charts do today? Oh shit! Ah.
People were talking about a little retrace, but
Just oh, okay. I just as I said that, somebody wicked like Quai to 6-7.
oh sheesh.
Oh, is that how you do it?
Six, seven. Oh my god.
Is the stomach
Ah,
goes? Is that
yeah,
what that is?
yeah.
Just call me Unk. I don't know what's going on. I have no idea, man. But
Yeah,
but
I don't
my
get
uh,
it
my
either. It's
daughter thinks it's
catchy.
hilarious for some reason. I'm like, it doesn't even mean anything. What are you
Yeah,
guys
no,
doing?
it's catchy. It like I was listening to Ray Dalio's book the other earlier today actually. And he said, but I had to switch gears when my company grew to 67 people, and it hit me. I was like, oh crap.
Oh no. I remember way back in the day. Believe it or not, I'm a little bit of a nerd. Um,
No way.
well, yeah. So
Listening
once
to Tron music nonstop in the office.
no, so there was actually this cool thing when I grew up. There was like a camp, but it was like a school camp, right? So they actually like basically did a summer thing, and over like 3 weeks, you'd take like like an AP course, right? But this is like you're like 7th or 8th grade,
hmm
and you go to like a college campus, and then they have a teacher, and they basically like teach you like 6 hours a day for 3 weeks like straight, and you do like a full AP course in 3 weeks.
Nice.
Uh, which is fun because like you're like 14 years old, and you're getting to stay in dorms like with other people, which is like fun in and of itself. But then you're also
Right.
like a nerd. You're like getting to do chemistry and stuff. Um, anyway, um, where was I going with this? How did this start? Um,
6, 7.
oh yeah. So over the summer they had the psychologists, and they like came to like the cohort because they wanted to do like studies about memory or whatever the fuck, right? Um, and they're like, "We'll give you like $8 for like an hour," and everyone's like, "Yeah, we'll do that." So they get us, and they like pay us $8, and they're like running through these tests. And one of the tests is like they have all of us in a room, and we're supposed to like press a button if we've seen a number before. And so they're like flashing these numbers on the screen, and they're collecting data for whatever psychology experiment that they're putting up, but they flashed 69, right? And everyone starts cracking up, right? And the researchers is like, settle down now, like be serious. And like, why of all the random numbers in the
Right.
world
For a bunch of 14
would
year
would
olds.
you flash that in front of a bunch of 13 and 14-year-olds and like not expect them to giggle and laugh, right? So I guess 6 7's now like excluded from those experiments as well. If you
Oh,
want
it's
good
gotta
data,
be. It's
right?
gotta be.
But anyway.
I saw like this. We're down a rabbit hole now, but I saw a video on Twitter the other day where I think it was either a high school or college women's basketball game, and they literally won the game with 67 points, and the crowd just went like crazy. Like everybody was doing that stupid thing.
Like it doesn't even mean anything.
No, it doesn't, but it's stuck
Like,
in your head now.
like what's going on, people? Like, what are we
Memes,
doing? I don't know.
memes, an interesting topic in itself. Anywho, um,
They're more fun if they're like meaningful, though, right? Or is that just me being old?
I don't know. When I first started looking into memes in high school, I stumbled across this PDF called The Art of Memetics, and for some reason that this just always stuck with me. But their best example was Got Milk. Like Got Milk was one of
Oh,
the
oh,
like,
I've like thought about a couple ones recently as we're like hanging out in the office,
uh,
as the boys talk. Um, uh, the one that we were just talking about that I thought would be pretty funny was is Ethereum cucks Quai fucks.
I literally used cuck in a tweet today. Like they were talking about comparing chains that are getting stablecoin adoption, and I'm like, this is so boring. Like cucking to central bankers is the most boring thing and boring and uninteresting thing ever in crypto right now. Like,
I thought that one was pretty catchy, to be honest.
yeah, ETH cucks, Quai fucks.
There it is.
Like, dude, and then you just like pair it with that guy from Silicon Valley,
Pretty funny.
right? This guy
Uh,
fucks.
did I lose you?
You might have lost me for a
Oh no.
second. You're back now.
Oh
Have you
man.
have, have you seen that, Dr. K? Oh no, we lost Dr. K. Don't tell me it's me. Mic check.
Heyo.
Yeah,
Sorry,
sorry.
I got like I gotta put this on do not disturb.
Oh, no sweat. So
It
so
like
you seen Silicon Valley, right?
yeah.
This guy fucks.
Yeah, no, that's like exactly like where that came from, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is what was his name again?
Oh, I don't know. He was
He's
which
the
one?
tall business guy.
The tall, lanky,
Yeah,
BD guy.
yeah, and then like out of nowhere, Russ Hanneman, aka like Mark Cuban, by the way.
Right.
Um, right, like no one thinks it, and then he's just like, this guy fucks.
Right.
And
And then
everyone's like,
turn
what?
and then turns
What?
out he
And
actually
then like
does.
the next morning, he like is like saying goodbye to like three girls. He's like, had a fun night last night, ladies. Everyone's like, what just happened?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's why.
that was a great series, man.
Yeah. It's on the list.
uh,
Fiance and I right now are turning through Game of Thrones, but
well, I mean, what is it? Sorry, is it Matt or Mike? Matt Judge? Mike Judge. Mike Judge. Anything he's made is like amazing, right? Right. It's Beavis and Butthead. Office Space, Idiocracy, Silicon
Oh
Valley,
yeah.
like let's go. Like all just great shit, man.
I didn't realize this. He did common side effects.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
You've seen
he's done
common
some good
side
shit, man.
effects?
I have not.
Oh, it's great. You love common side effects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Definitely one to kill on an airplane whenever you're traveling.
well, I will say looking at the market today, um oh, no, ETH bounced or sorry, Bitcoin bounced back above 90. So that's
Okay.
favorable.
Yeah,
It's
everything
favorable.
looks like it's bouncing right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if like we break up from here in aggregate. It just feels like some of these markets are kind of dead, to be honest.
Hmm.
Not dead from like the fact of low volume, but more like dead from the fact of there's too many perpetuals and derivatives that
Mm.
prevent them from being fair markets, right? Because you have to remember all of these like derivatives on crypto exchanges are all unregulated and they're like you put a long, you know, Mr. James Wynn is a little bit of a dumbass. But when he says like people hunt like longs, he's not wrong. And the people that are doing that are most likely the exchanges. And they know exactly where your buys and sells are. And that's why you
Hmm.
see like square waves in the chart. Is they're just like, oh look, here's some money. Oh look, there's some money. Oh look, here's some money. And they're just literally taking your money. This is something Jane Street did, and they got in trouble for it. Interestingly, they got in trouble because they sued an employee for like taking a proprietary algo, and then during discovery in the case, the they had to like say what it was, and
Hmm.
then the SEC got a hold of them, and I think they eventually fined him like $6 billion. But what was going on is there's a ton of risk taking in the Indian stock market on 0 day um, expiration options. So it's like 200x in the derivative volume as there is in spot, right? So what Jane Street figured out is that they could take a derivative position, so like buy or sell options, and then they could lose money manipulating spot, but make money in aggregate because they're making it in the derivatives. That's exactly what's going on in shit that's listed and has, you know, perps on these large crypto exchanges. And if you haven't realized that, like you haven't been paying attention.
Yeah. No, you've mentioned that a few times. While we're on the topic, I'm actually curious because you've mentioned silver in the past. Um, we also have some news about the housing market and the defense industry today, and then the Zcash employees that left today. So it's an interesting day in the markets writ large.
Silver's like an interesting one, and the reason silver's interesting is because um, silver is produced at the rate it's consumed. There's actually been a deficit, I think, for the last 5 years. So what's actually happening is silver's been long-term manipulated because there's always been a surplus of production, which has allowed the paper market to kind of arbitrarily price it.
Mm,
What's happened more recently is the physical is actually not there, right? So because of electronics, because of solar panels, because of batteries, because of GPUs, these AI build outs, when you do interconnects on high voltage systems, you have to use silver plated terminals. If you look at, gold is like a very small plating. Silver is way more used than gold, like way more used, especially relative to the total supply, right? Gold is a monetary metal, right? Just a fraction of gold is used for things. Um, and it's like just this small plating and most of it's recovered. So like gold is not consumed, but silver is. Um, and so there's a shortage in actual physical now. And that's like forcing the paper markets up because at $70 you can't actually get delivery on silver, right? Which means like it has
got
to
it.
go to 80. But like even at 80, it's hard to get deliverable silver, right? And so there's actually a physical squeeze going on here. and you know, some powers that be within the financial world are trying to suppress, which is actually creating a disconnect between market pricing between Shanghai, Dubai, COMEX in London, right? So COMEX is really your U.S. paper market. The other two are physical markets. So um, Shanghai is basically pulling up the price because they're not paper settled; they're physically settled. And yeah, the COMEX is trying to suppress the price because they're on the other side of the risk on all of these futures contracts, which they can't deliver on in any size. So, they've raised the margin requirements on futures a number of times, trying to suppress that. Um, but, I don't think the silver story is over here at all. I think I think in the short term you're going to see triple digit silver. um, I think there might be a correction at that point, but from what I can tell, it's still very much in short supply. So like once, you kind of have like a market reconsolidation, I think you might permanently go over three figures.
Wow.
Yeah. Right.
Interesting.
The other one that's interesting is doing an analysis on who's like price sensitive. So I saw somebody doing the analysis, which was saying that solar manufacturers are the most price sensitive, but they were also saying that they'll keep buying to about 160 an ounce.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, you've talked about you've had your eye on silver for a while, so that really appreciate you sharing that. It's definitely making the news. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I've been long silver pretty much all year.
Nice. I can see why. I can see why now.
Yeah, well,
Um,
I've been looking at it for like, so the first time I started understanding why silver is a unique market was back, I think it might have been like '09 or 10. It did a squeeze. And like I didn't really get to play in that squeeze. I saw it like after the fact, but I was like, what was that?
mhm.
Right. So like I figured out the dynamics of the silver market. I've been waiting for like a decade to trade that. So I was able to trade like a little bit of something in 20,
Mhm.
and I thought that might be it, but that didn't end up being like the squeeze. So I've definitely been like hawk, bird dog in the market looking for this opportunity for like 15 years.
Dang.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Any thoughts on the Zcash employees quitting recently? I know you got a boogie soon, but thought we'd touch on that one before we start to wrap
Um,
up.
yeah, no, I mean I can keep talking. I just gotta pop my camera off here.
Oh, okay.
Hold on. Yeah, so Zcash. Um, what do I think about the Zcash guys? So basically, um, let me formulate my thoughts here. I mean, ultimately, like most things are structured so that devs make money on apps, right? And if you look at like the Zcash team, right, they were later coming to Zcash, so they haven't necessarily minted, so they're very interested in the opportunity to monetize dApps independently and make money. I personally think that any development of sort of like known um, needed applications or services on a blockchain, uh, certainly ones that are sponsored by or seeded by a foundation, should actually just be building things and then cycling those profits back into a token itself. I think that having secondary tokens are inefficient, and having protocols that are well known in architecture um, and sort of required in these systems, those all should be um, funded by a foundation, but they should feed all of the profits back into the token. So if the Zcash Foundation was doing this correctly, I think they would properly incentivize their employees with tokens in such a way that they could have tremendous upside, and that any money that's generated from these applications are feeding back into the tokens which they own. Um, that's kind of my like take. And the fact that they aren't, or the fact that they're defecting, means that the foundation hasn't done a good job of aligning those incentives.
Cool.
So
Appreciate that.
I would also say too that for the age of Zcash, it's pretty disappointing that you need like devs that are like a core group of devs, right? These protocols are meant to ossify, not be continually changed. So for something that's now what 10 years old, like why do you have or need a core group of devs?
and Ethereum's gonna do like 3 upgrades in less than 365 days here pretty soon.
I would be
Just
shocked if they can do 3 upgrades in 365 days.
well, they did 2 in 2025, and they're looking at another one right now. I don't know what the timeline
But
is.
like how spaced out were the 2 and 25?
I want to say, well, yeah, I want to say about 6 months, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah, I mean Ethereum is
It's
such a
just
sprawling like
it's just crazy
thing.
how often they upgrade, in my opinion.
Um, yeah, I mean honestly, I think they have a slow upgrade cycle, but I would also say that for something that's 10 years old, they shouldn't be upgrading,
Makes sense.
right? It's like if it's a decentralized protocol, there should be a new roadmap every couple of years with Vitalik trying to figure this thing out as he goes,
Right.
right?
Um,
Oh, FYI, he like hasn't figured it out.
they solved the trilemma, Dr. K, didn't you hear?
Yeah, ZK snarks are not how you scale blockchains
Yeah. We got that
at
take
all.
in yesterday's uh,
Never
call.
have been, never will be. Compute is not the bottleneck.
Great idea for voting though, right, Dr. K?
Yeah, yeah, it'd be a great system to do provable, auditable, but private voting.
Yeah, that is we need to definitely upgrade our voting systems. Steph Curdy just pinged me on the side here about the Jordan Hall conversation. We called him either a member of or aligned with Group B. It's actually called Game B.
Gameby,
Uh,
there it is. I
yep.
always forget the name, man. They need like more
I, I
catchy branding, man.
I did a Google search and nothing came up right away, but it's Game B, and I dropped a link to a
There's
YouTube
a wiki
video.
page about it.
Yeah, it was Steph shared a YouTube video. So if you're interested,
The first thing I think of is always Plan B, but I know that one's not right, right?
no, it's not right.
Game B, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Game B. For those of you who are in the chat, I dropped a link to a video where you can learn more about Game B. Perhaps an evolution of the intellectual dark web. There's also some other folks called out as being members of that. Jim Rutt and Brett Weinstein, perhaps. And so we also got a interview between those two. I'll drop in chat as well. But I hope you guys are as excited for that conversation as I am when you were first introduced to crypto. Like most of us, you were probably excited about the long term potential that this technology has. And hopefully, you get as excited or even more excited once you realize the potential of the conversations we can have now with the introduction of a scalable proof of work blockchain with a rock hard money backed by real value, aka energy.
You got to find that clip of David.
I posted that today. I
Oh
downloaded it
yeah,
from YouTube and I posted it on the
rock
live
hard money.
on the live stream yesterday. The community was reminding us about rock hard blockchains, and so I posted that.
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
I think he may have had whiskey before he shot that one.
David was a blast. Shout out David. But yeah, rock hard blockchains are the only thing that can make rock hard money and realize the dream that we've all been shooting towards. I'll just say is, there's not a lot of the typical bullshit on crypto Twitter these days that I'm used to seeing. However, there is seemingly a complete ignorance to why we started this in the first place. People don't seem to even care at all whether or not something is really just promoting fiat, which is super interesting. And you either really care about privacy or you don't give two shits at all, which is
Well,
super
hold on,
interesting
hold
as
on.
well.
It's not about caring or not. It's that most people don't appreciate the long tail.
The long tail of fiat,
Well, no, it's so like privacy doesn't matter until it does.
right?
Censorship doesn't matter until it does,
Right.
right? So, I mean, if you look at what happened with COVID, if you look at what happened with like, the social things that came after COVID, where tenets of what we thought were basic descriptions of reality and evidence-based things could no longer be discussed as reality, like that is the long tail, rearing its head.
Yeah.
Um, right. And that's what these systems are for.
Yeah.
Right. If you don't control the money, you don't control the media, you don't control the politics, like you can't do that. Like, right. But
I'm
if you control all of those things, right, you can tell everybody that something's safe and effective when
yeah.
it's not.
Well, and I think,
You can tell them, that certain things don't cause autism when they do,
yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's going to be a hard one to explain. They changed that schedule. We're going to see the in 5 years. Yeah, good luck with that.
Well, and I'm actually grateful that we lived through that, because I think we needed to experience that as a population. There's a long tail to fiat, that I don't think we've lived through, and so the conspiracy theorists, when it comes to fiat and fractional reserve banking, I hope they don't have to be proven right when stablecoins rule the world,
None of
for
these things are
folks to
ever
wake
like
up.
conspiracies. Very few conspiracy theories are actually theories. They're just fucking
Yeah, I said
conspiracies.
that tongue in cheek. I said that tongue
Like
in
like
cheek.
what what are we talking about? Right?
Yeah,
Like the
that
majority of
it's
quote unquote
history.
conspiracy theories are just conspiracies. There's no theory about it. There's just documented evidence that people are conspiring to do a thing or make you think a thing.
Yeah, yeah. No, tongue in cheek. There's a lot of people nowadays that say the conspiracy theorists were right. So the quote unquote theorists of the terrible things that could happen with the fall of fiat, I hope they don't have to be proven right. After stablecoins dominate the world, I hope people wake up to hard money before that happens.
Replace it.
Yeah, yeah. At the very least,
Can you hear me?
yep, I can hear you.
Oh man.
Can you not hear me? Oh, we lost Dr. K again. I hope you guys appreciate um, how hard this guy works to make sure that this wins for as many people as possible. In the back of my mind, I can hear his can feel his wife getting irritated. He needs to take her to dinner. There he is. Mic check, Dr. K. Oh,
Hey, dude.
yeah, we got you.
Sorry about that.
No worries. The cell service out there is not that great.
Yeah, no, it's I have myself on like do not disturb, but my wife gets to go through that. So she just
Of
called
course
me, and
she
every time
does.
it calls, it breaks up restream.
Of course she does. She should be able to get through that.
And
You've been burning a lot of midnight oil, Dr. K. I appreciate the family support you have back there. I don't want to burn that out either.
yeah,
So
yeah,
maybe
I'm
some
driving the
final
meter.
thoughts.
We can keep going until I get there.
Okay. What? Give me an
But
ETA on that. What's the ETA on?
maybe like 10 minutes.
Okay. All right. Reconnecting with the support system. Our better halves are why we get to do this for you guys. So many appreciations to Mrs. Dr. K. So fiat system, we got to replace it, or at least have an option for when it does start to break down, right?
Yeah. So the point there is, it only gets scary if you don't have something in place that can replace it when it breaks.
Right.
Right. So if it just like breaks and everything like broke down, and then we didn't have, good liquid money systems, we live in a very complex society, and that complexity is supported by having a functional money system.
Society would
Um,
would retrace, and the bullion and the silver coins would come back out.
Maybe, I mean, but those aren't going to work efficiently enough to keep things operating anywhere near where they
No,
operate now,
we'd have to
right?
retrace to the last time we used bullion
it's
and
it's
silver.
going to be rough, right? Like, think about how many steps you are removed from like the food that you eat every day.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's going to be like 30 steps or something. It's just enormous, right?
Hmm.
So the money system has to support the complexity. The complexity isn't necessarily bad because it allows for specialization, in technology and, tools, advancements, etc. But that requires a high degree of complexity, which requires a very like fluid money system. Um, so if it all like breaks down, that's really bad. What will probably happen if we don't have a system to replace it is they're going to remonetize, which means they're going to say you have the dollar, and then for the example here, they're going to come up and say, okay, the dollar's hyperinflating. That's okay. We're going to make something that we call the dollar forte.
Right.
Um, and the
They'll
dollar
build
forte, as you
the
understand, is much
replacement.
stronger than the dollar, of course. That's why it's called the forte. Um, and you're going to be able to change your dollars for $100 forte, or $100 for $1 forte, right?
Hmm.
Which effectively is going to wipe out everybody's wealth and savings that isn't in commodity goods. Um, and I use Forte as an example because it's like that is what, um, is it Argentina or Venezuela did? I think that was
Well,
Venezuela that did that. The
that's what I
first
wanted to
time they
highlight.
hyperinflated their currency.
Well, and this is, I mean, I forget the exact example, but this has happened multiple times in the past
Oh yeah,
across,
no, 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 no.
a
So
number of
this is the
nations.
long tail, right? This is
Yeah,
again people not anticipating the long tail. It
right,
inevitably does take place. It's just most people aren't prepared for it and don't think that it's likely to happen, but it inevitably will happen,
right.
right? So like I used to have a shirt, but I wore it too many times. I custom made the shirt, and this was back in, I don't know, 2016, 2017, and it had the 27 currencies that had hyperinflated in the 20th century on the back. And since
I
I made
remember
that
you talking
shirt, and
about
I
this.
wore it so many times, and like it has a hole in it, and I can't wear it anymore. Um, since that time, I think there's been like 5 more examples of hyperinflating currencies in major economies.
You're collecting them now for like an art piece, right?
Oh yeah, I have. I actually have examples of all of the bills. I just haven't had time. I want to make. I want to make like a framed picture that has each of the bills of like super high denominations with the date of like when it went off the rails. It just in like one giant frame.
Oh yeah.
Um, just like a gold embroidering of like when it like failed, and then potentially have like a Bitcoin in the middle. Um, Something of the sort. So, um, yeah, I just haven't gotten around to it, but I have all the bills. At least
Yeah.
not the recent ones. I have all the ones from like 2018 or earlier, but not the more modern examples.
That'll be a pretty cool project. Again, I want to highlight like this has happened before in the past. So like what we're talking about is not completely unrealistic. My bigger fear, honestly, is that they are, those who do control the monetary system are preparing for it, and their replacement is net worse for humanity writ
It's
large.
a
Probably
CBDC.
bingo, coming with
Basically,
all the
basically, all of
properties
the
of
people that are
CBDC.
building proof of stake systems and sucking up to the NWO are building your digital cage.
Yep.
Like, let's be perfectly frank here. And your
Yeah.
digital cage is be far worse than it is currently.
And back to my original comment, that's what's kind of blowing my mind right now on X is seeing all these people who got into crypto, understanding all these things and thinking of that long tail, and now just like either completely ignoring it or completely forgetting, um, what got them in there in the first place. So interesting times.
Yeah,
Interesting
yeah. I
times.
mean, to say the least, right?
Yeah.
I think it's really because there was like a very hard problem that people didn't know how to solve, and they're like, "But we still want to make money, so like, let's just cut some corners and not talk about it, and we'll
Yeah.
convince everyone that proof of stake is okay, and then we'll convince everybody that stablecoins are okay, and then we'll convince everybody that some form of tracking, censorship, compliance, and KYC is okay,
But
right?
North
Like,
Korea.
yeah, yeah, but North Korea, child porn, you know, human trafficking and drug dealers, like, all use the fucking crypto, use the dollars. Like, what are we even
Yeah, they
talking
don't.
about,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
It's the straightest form of psyop that like ever existed. It's very disappointing to see.
Yeah. I'm sure a large portion of these folks are, reverting to their base nature. For myself, it was just a blind faith in open source developers. Having, grown up using Linux since I was like 12 years old, open source projects always find a way. And obviously that's not something you can continue to depend on in crypto.
No, 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 no. You never could depend on open source development. Never. Like, some very few people in this world are like altruistic, but like altruistic
Uh,
people still need to eat. The only thing that you can in the markets, like long term, that is how you must
Yeah,
design the system.
I'm referring to, a world pre-crypto
No,
and
I'm
how,
even saying that like in that world pre crypto, like I get there's like this ethos and this like sort of cypherpunk sort of deal. Um, but like that isn't scalable or sustainable, right? Because there's not enough people that can do this, like altruistic thing long term
right,
in an uncorruptible way. So the only thing that is uncorruptible is well designed markets that are verifiable or cryptographically enforced, creating behaviors to maximally exploit the profit potential in the market. So it's all about game design.
Right.
Like that's what it's all about. That's the only thing that you can rely on, is that if there's money to be made, people will figure out how to make the money. So the only behavior that you can depend on long term is one that you can incentivize through an economic market to happen. And if you need altruism, or you need grants, or you need subsidies, or you need like some committee, none of that is going to stand the test of time.
Yeah. Well, and to counter my original point, even the timeline for Linux is relatively short in the grand scheme of things.
It is. And the only thing that has kept Linux together is Linus.
Yeah,
He
100%.
is just a curmudgeony genius that like doesn't allow any shit in the code base. And the second he's gone, he's probably it's gonna start deteriorating. It's gonna turn into fucking Windows. Because you can't replace the guy. It's the same reason with like companies. Like once a company goes public and it loses its founder, like it eventually dies. Inevitably.
Yeah.
Like it inevitably dies.
I saw that live action when oh shit, I just forgot his name. Founder of Nike left as the CEO and the board. He wasn't even the chairman anymore. How come Phil Knight? Yeah, passed the mic to Mark. I was there when he passed the mic to Mark Parker, and then it just started going south. And then it really went south when Mark Parker left. So they're crawling back out of a hole now. But yeah, yeah, 100%. Uh-oh, Christopher's throwing shots. I won't say that out loud. For his sake. The X chat is a lot of fun. Shout out Chuck Rays and all the other new folks who are tuning in. Glad to have you guys. Our community is growing quite a bit these days, and I'm just so proud of the community we have. It's been around for about 5 years now. The Discord has been around, so welcome everybody. We are ready for you. The ambassadors and the OGs have been hanging out with Dr. K and the team for years now, and really looking forward to continuing to welcome more people to this space. So we'll keep
Well,
doing
hey man,
more content like
I gotta
this.
get to dinner here.
Yeah,
So we gotta call it.
I'll wrap it
But
up. Final thoughts from you, sir.
no, thanks everyone for coming. A lot of cool stuff happening. Yeah, been a great 3 weeks. It's gonna be a great month. It's gonna be a great year, man.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, Dr. K. Please, please, please go find some time with
And
your family and relax and enjoy it. The
How's it
work is
going?
just beginning over here at Quai
You
Network,
hear
guys.
interesting?
Thanks, Dr. K. So like Dr. K said, it's been a crazy 3 weeks, but things are just going to get better. We'll be back again tomorrow on X for our regularly scheduled Quiet Friday. I'm going live pretty much all the time now, so make sure you follow all these accounts: Quai Network, at Politic on my account. And if you guys need some Quai, guys, go check out Kipper.money. It's the easiest way to get your hands on some Quai. The community has been around forever, and we're absolutely cracked on welcoming new members by tipping them Quai over on X. If you need even more Quai, you can find it on traded on Mexi, Gate.io, and Lbank. You can swap those useless tokens for more useful ones over at SwapSpace and Let's Exchange. And we are on the Kraken roadmap, guys. It's a good time to get involved. We are post SOAP, but the hash rate and the buybacks and the revenue flywheel is just getting started. So you're still early over here. Really appreciate everybody who tuned in. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I see some miners, I see some holders, I see some content creators. You guys absolutely rock. Really looking forward to sharing some more content with you guys soon. I'm going to call it and go watch the Colorado Avalanche kick some ass. Have a good night, everybody. We'll catch you tomorrow. Peace out.